Hi guys, 18 Dapper and Vicky here for another tag video. This is the random tag. Thanks Rach for getting us on this. Let's get it started. So guys, welcome to this random tag video. The last tag video did quite well, didn't it? Something different for the channel. That was the...
Oh my god, what were it? I'm currently
tag. Well done. Only did it last week, it's just totally gone. But yeah, that's got around 200 views, I think, something like that. So that's done pretty well. Rach, Hey Bales, her channel will be in the description down below. Tagged us in the random tag video. So let's get started. Do you want me to go first or do you?
You can go first.
Yeah. So the questions will be along the bottom of the screen like I did last time. There's 16 in total, so we'll try and fly through it pretty quickly.
Yep, yeah, let's go.
So first one is, when did you last cry? Now for me, this is quite a difficult one to say. The last time I properly cried was at work. I was in the canteen. I was a manager at the time, new manager. Been in the job for, what, 8-9 months? Something like that.
I'm sure it was longer. I'm sure it was like over a year.
Maybe over a year. But the business that we work in was brand new when we started. I got put into the position of manager and it just grew so quickly and I felt like the support wasn't there. Went up to the office a number of times, asked for the support and didn't get it, and it just felt like everything that I was doing wasn't helping, and I was just getting nowhere, and it just all got a bit too much. And then after lunch you asked me what was up, didn't you? And that just tipped me over the edge. Just burst out crying. At that point went up into the office again, and from that point on I think they realised that something wasn't right. I was putting in far too many hours. I was doing too much. I was programming machines, I was driving trucks, I was trying to manage holidays, sickness, absence. I was doing far too much, and the support did come, but it was just too late, wasn't it? Too late. The straw had broke the camel's back, as it were. Yeah. And I think the enjoyment of the job just had gone. Still working at that business, still trying to make a difference. I do enjoy working for the company. They're a good company.
I think the reason why you were crying so much is because you felt like you'd let yourself down.
Yeah.
Like you'd not achieved what you set out to aspire to.
I don't like failing.
Broke you.
Hate failing. Never fail and never give up.
It wasn't your fault.
Still feels like it was a bit though.
It wasn't.
Still does feel like it was. But I'm in a better place now. I'm probably close to a breakdown, in all honesty. Not very nice at home, was I?
I don't really remember. It's like...
I was absent, I think.
Yeah.
Very absent. Which is not good. You should enjoy your work. And I do now. So, there you go. That's the last time I cried. What a start.
I know. So, a bit more recently for me. The last time I properly cried, and I can't remember anything apart from this, because I had to take myself out of the house. I went for a really long walk, and when I'm upset, that's what I do. I leave the environment that is causing me so much upset and I go out. And the reason why I was crying is because it was just before we moved into our new home together, before we made this huge, massive commitment to one another. We'd had an argument, and probably about something really stupid.
I was breathing.
Yeah, maybe. And it was just one of them, like, do you really want to do this next step in life when you're constantly bickering? Which is what we were doing, because buying a house, as according to like all my friends at work, they were like, it's normal, it happens when you're getting married, it's just the stress of it, you bicker all the time. But then you have this doubt in your mind, like, well, if I'm bickering so much, is it really the best thing for me to do? And so I cried, but we're still here. I got over it.
It's just a habit. Nah, good decision, I think. This house is doing me head in though.
Oh, we'll get it done eventually.
We will.
What is the first thing you notice about someone?
The first thing I notice about somebody is eyes and teeth.
Okay.
Do you want a reason why? Or?
Yeah, I do.
Go on.
Alright.
I don't know. When I look at somebody, I always try to get eye contact. I think if there's no eye contact, I'm a bit dodgy with somebody. If they're talking to me but not looking at me, just something don't feel right. So I'm always trying to get eye contact. So I think that's just naturally something that I notice in people. I do like a good set of teeth.
Mine are perfectly straight.
Yeah.
No braces. Just natural.
Not that braces are a bad thing, but
No.
I think it's just something that I do notice. Rather than teeth, we'll go smile. A nice smile, because I think teeth are included in that.
Right.
Yep.
For me, when I first meet someone and I'm being introduced to them, it is their smile, and it's how genuine that smile is towards me that makes me either like you or not. I'm sorry, but if you're showing me a genuine smile, then I'm like, yeah, you're brilliant. If you're having to fake that smile, then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna suss you out a bit. Yeah, it's horrible. But when I'm at work and I look at somebody, I'm looking at your body language. If you're stood with your hands in your pockets and you're looking around, you're not actually listening to who is speaking to you, then I can pick up that you are lazy, you're not going to be worth my time, those sort of things. I'm looking for how engaged you are. And then when we are out and about, I am people watching, and
proper people
I
watch,
know,
don't we?
and I'm looking at your outfits. So I'm looking at the girls, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I like those shoes. I like how you've done that. And Dan's looking at the men, and he's like, oh yeah, he looks really good. And so
Won't go that far, like.
I tend to focus on different things depending like the scenario, but mostly if I'm being introduced to somebody, I will look at your smile. Moving on to the next question. Where is the furthest you have been from home?
For me, well, for us together, furthest we've been away from home is New York. For Richard's wedding.
Yeah.
What a week that was. That was unreal. Fantastic week. We went with the family, Chris, Rach, kids, mum, dad, but we've never been to America, have we? Had you? No, never been to America. And when we knew that we were going over for the wedding, we said, we're there, we're going to have at least a day where we go to New York. We can't not miss it. So I booked us a train from
What's it called? Yeah, that's it.
Straight down into New York. It was a long day, weren't it?
It was a good day.
Early in the morning, train into New York, and then we wish we'd have taken a bit more money with us and done a few bits more, but we got a lot in. We just walked about 15, 16 miles in the day. Saw all your major landmarks, even from a distance, like Statue of Liberty were about this big.
But we saw it.
Yeah, we saw it. The only thing we didn't see was Brooklyn Bridge.
Did we not see that?
I think
we kind of saw it from a distance.
Saw it, but I wanted to get a bit closer to it. But we are planning on going back at some point. But I think that's the furthest away we've been together.
Yeah.
On my own, I don't know if it's further away. Went to the Dominican Republic when I was 18 for my 18th, my mum and dad's 40th, and Chris's 21st. So I think they're a similar distance away from home.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
So when we went to New York, that's the furthest away from home that I have been, and I think we'd only been dating for 3 years, so I feel very humble and I appreciate everything that Dan's family did because we didn't have to pay for that. It was all funded by the family, so I really appreciate that opportunity and thank you. It was great fun.
Yeah, great week.
The next one is, what did you want to be when you grew up?
So, when I was a kid, I wanted to write music for films, and that continued through sixth form, into uni, studied music, did quite well with composition, but it just ended up falling by the wayside when I started working, earning money and paying bills. So it's unfortunate because I was alright at composition, did alright. I think that was the only thing at uni that I got first on. Everything else I got like 2 1s, 2 2s. maybe a third. Came out with 2-2 overall.
You like creating stuff though, don't you?
Yeah, very creative. So I think I'd have done all right with that, but it's just such a difficult business to get into. I think once you're in it, you're set. But there's only a number of film music composers who you kind of hear of regular, like Hans Zimmer, Danny Elfman, people like that, and just too difficult to get into. So reassessed my path. There you go.
So for me, I was a member of the St John's Ambulance when I was younger. That was like my hobby. Other friends went to dance class, but I went to St John's. So I think I wanted to be a nurse, and that almost was achieved, but it was just too stressful, I suppose. And one of the questions further down will enlighten you as to why it wasn't the best career choice for me to go into.
So stay tuned.
Yeah. On to the next question.
So the next question is, what was your favourite and worst subject at school? So we've wanted to be a music film composer. Pretty obvious my favourite subject was music. Play a couple of instruments, enjoyed the after school activities, the music centre and stuff, enjoyed that, social and creative. Worst subject for me was history. Just couldn't get interested in it. Stuff that's happened. More interested about stuff what's going on now, stuff that might happen. I think it is important, history, but as a kid just couldn't get into it, so first opportunity to drop it, I dropped it for geography because I like colouring maps and stuff.
My favourite and worst subject, I can't really remember overall, so I've tried to think of like a specific year. So I've gone with like year 11, and my favourite subject during that year was graphics, because it was just full of a class of my favourite people. They were just amazing. They made that class so much fun. And then my favourite teacher as well, she was absolutely incredible. And what we had to do, so we had to design either a party pack or a wedding pack. So I went with the wedding pack, and you had like your favours, your invitations, everything. And I just absolutely loved that class. It was one that I was always looking forward to. And sometimes we had like double lessons, so you'd spend 2 hours in that lesson, and it was just the best time. Whereas my worst class was health and social care.
Oh,
and
didn't think of that one.
And I picked it, obviously, because I had this vision in my head of it will help me with my career choice. But just the people in that class, oh my god, it was horrible. So I actually wanted to learn, but it was just full of like disruptive women who just wanted to have a baby after school. And I'm sorry, I don't know if that's still the case for health and social care, but for my year at school, it was horrendous. I was with all of the plastics, as we called them, and it just wasn't nice because I was like a geek. And one of the questions during that lesson was, what's it like to be a geek? And I thought, and the teacher was just stood there and she did nothing. And I just thought, you know what? Ugh, I hate this class. I'm not coming to it no more. And I did everything I could to get out of that class. Hated it.
Yeah. With graphics, I remember doing graphics at my school as well, and we built a restaurant out of like foam board and stuff. I remember building like a little Chinese. You had to build little tables and stuff and get a menu and everything. Oh, a good lesson.
Yeah.
Decent. Music was still better though. On to question 6. I might leave this one for Vicky to explain. It is, what are your name choices for your children?
So, I think we should come back to this one when we have had a child, because then we will be able to tell you the full meaning around us choosing it. But in the meantime, we kind of have nicknames already for when we are like thinking of scenarios to do with when we eventually have kids. So the first one was Lloyd for a boy, And
I think that came from Lego Movie, didn't it?
it did, yeah.
Lloyd.
And we'd kind of just be sat there and we'd be like, oh, this is why we need Lloyd, because we could be like, Lloyd, get us the remote, Lloyd, go to the shop, and those sort of things.
Child labour, that kind of thing.
And then we was in the car one day, and I can't remember how it came about, but it was like, oh, what would the nickname for the girl be? And we've been to see Wicked together. And
what a show.
one of the main characters is called Garlinda.
Gar.
So we were like, oh, we'll call her Gar. And we'll be like, Gar, your boyfriend's here. And Gar.
Just be a proper annoying parent.
In front of the friends and stuff. So those are the nicknames. I don't really know if they will be around when we have kids. But
Probably be called like Emily or something, but we'd be there like, Gar!
Yeah, I don't think our kids will actually know their real names, they'll just know their nicknames. And we have got actual proper names in mind. But people always say that when you look at your child, the name that you've envisaged for them doesn't go with them.
Yeah.
So
A bit like with Charlie.
Yeah.
We had names ready for the dog. I can't remember him now.
Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar. And then we picked him up. You had him on his knee.
I had him on my knee. No, I was sat on his knee.
yeah.
Squish him.
Did I say you were sat on his knee?
you had him on your knee. I mean, you had him.
He was on Vicky's knee.
Yeah.
And we were just going through a couple of names, and Charlie popped up, and he just seemed to be quite responsive to it, didn't he?
Yeah.
So that's how he got his name.
But if you really want to know, we have got a few names in mind. So for a boy, we really like the name Elliot.
Or Billy.
Or Billy. And then, obviously, if we had two boys, the first one would be called Elliot, the second one would be called Billy. And as long as we never shout, Billy Elliot! Like, there you go. And then for a girl, I really like the thought of having the EP as their initials. So, I really like the name Emily, and it kind of fits into my family as well, because my granddad's mum was called Emily, so it has that family tie to it. So they are like actual proper names. If we didn't go with Emily, then again we'd go with Billy for a girl.
Yeah.
But who knows?
We've got to get busy first.
Ugh.
On to the next one. It is, do you have any bad habits?
So for this, I think it'd be best if you say my bad habits and I say your bad habits.
Well, I'm going to be here for ages. You'll have that sale.
What? Oh.
Bad habits.
Do you want me to help you out?
Yeah, you go first. You go first and I'll have a think.
Oh, what do you always call? I've got loads of systems. So anything with the
Is this a bad habit for me or you?
For me.
I thought you would have been me.
I'm doing you, but I'm helping you out me because you.
Well, I'm having a think.
All right.
So you do my bad habits while I'm having a think.
Okay, your bad habits are you're breathing loudly. Whenever I'm trying to read, you love noise. You can't have quiet. You have to have something noisy going on constantly. So it's like you have to watch a video on your phone with the volume turned up like to loud, and I think it's where we don't communicate properly. So the other day when I was trying to take this clip off of the hose pipe and you were just shouting at me, take it off, and I said to you, how? And instead of you telling me how, you just shouted, take it off, and I'm like, but how? And those sort of communication failures where you don't get the full amount of information that you meant to get, or when you're trying to coach me. I hate it when you try to coach me. There we go, that's a lot.
I've got some bad habits, haven't I? For Vicky, I think she mentioned it, systems do my head in. So she's got a load of systems that she uses for stuff like rotation in the fridge or juice up on top of cupboards, just a system for absolutely everything. But the only person who knows these systems is Vicky. So as soon as I start doing anything that interrupts this system, I get told off.
Like, I've got this system in the bathroom where if we're using some shampoo, I've always got a full bottle lined up for when that one's empty. But that bottle that you're using has got to be fully empty before you get the next one out. And if Dan gets the next one out before he's finished using the other bottle, oh my gosh, I go mad.
So that kind of goes back to the communication.
Yeah.
Because you have systems that you don't communicate with me. And I'm going to stick on the communication theme, because another bad habit of yours is I'll ask a question and then there's minutes of silence. Literal minutes of silence. You know, a conversation normally happens like pretty two-way. I have one-way conversations with this one. Because I'll ask a question and she'll sit there thinking, I just think that she's totally not heard me, or she's just ignoring me.
I've heard you, but sometimes...
Acknowledge then. If I ask you a question, just say, let me think.
But sometimes I don't know if I'm the only one, it just feels like too much effort to actually talk. And then you constantly rabbit on all the time. So like, sometimes I just can't physically be bothered to communicate with you.
That's a bad habit.
And I have...
Just not being bothered.
Seriously, and I'm just like, just let me just have this thought in my head and get through this one thought in my head without you interrupting me, because I'll sit there and I'm like thinking, and Dan will turn around and go, what are you thinking about? And it's like, it's not just one thing that I'm thinking about, it's like a spider web of my trace of thought. I'll think about one thing and then it'll lead to something else, and so like, he thinks my silence is what you're thinking about, but I'm trying to go back to the original thing that started it all off.
See,
anyway.
all that that's happening in Vicky's head normally just comes straight out of my mouth.
Yeah, it does.
It's a lot easier. Right, before we break up, let's move on to the next one. Do you have any tattoos?
Nope, but I would like one, but I don't know if it will ever happen because I need to get married for it to be done.
There we go.
It's going to be my initials and my last name. Yeah.
Where?
Either at the top of my thigh or on my ribs here.
Do like a thigh tattoo.
But it's going to be a fancy V with a rose and then my last name, like in fancy writing underneath.
There we go. I've got a few.
Yes, you have.
I've got one on this shoulder, that was my first one. Never ever going to get tattooed at that shop again because I've got no feeling in it. When they were shading it in, the ink wasn't grabbing, it wasn't staying, so they did that full tattoo with a single needle, and yeah, no feeling now. Great. You feel a thing. I've got one on my back, an angel across my shoulders and down my spine. That was painful. That took 6 hours. I've got one on my ribs, which is a load of text, some rosary beads and a rose. That took about 4 hours. There was bits on that which were painful as well. And then I did have one for my granddad up on my shoulder, which I've now had covered, and a full sleeve done, which took 4-day sessions.
Were it not 6?
No, I think it was 4. I think it was 4-day sessions and a little bit extra. A day session 6 hours, so it took 24. I think it took about 26, 27 hours to do, across a number of sittings. And it's got families, star signs on, dates of birth on pocket watches, and each star sign has got a flower associated to it. So they're the fillers. Probably my favourite tattoo of the lot.
Yeah, I like it.
Means a lot. And I've got a plan for a tattoo trouser. I don't like calling them leg sleeves. Tattoo trouser, dedicated, well, showing a lot of Doncaster Rovers stuff. So get a couple of badges on there, and a couple of legendary players and things like that, but need to design it first. There you go, a lot of tattoos for me.
Do you have a middle name?
I do. My middle name is Joe. My great granddad was called Joe. Good name. What about you?
I do have a middle name, and I really love it. It is called Rose.
It's called Rose.
It's Rose. It's Rose. So my name is Victoria Rose, and I think it's just
Nice name.
really nice, really like royal, and yeah, I love it. My nana actually had the middle name Rose as well, so that's where it comes from.
There we go.
And my granddad was called Victor, so that's where my first name comes from. There we go.
Look at that. On to number 10. What is your favourite fragrance, Vicky?
So I don't have a favourite, not one that I go to constantly, but out of the selection that I have at the minute, my favourite is the Marc Jacobs Decadence, which was I know, it's fancy, isn't it? Which was a Christmas present from Dan's mum and dad, and I love it. It just smells so fresh. Right there, right there.
I got it.
Yeah. It smells so fresh. It like,
especially when it's squirted up your nose.
yeah, it's so nice.
My favourite fragrance, pretty easy.
Oh, Hollister.
Yeah, I do like Hollister Sol Cal. It's just one of those aftershaves that keeps its scent for quite a while, and it's one where as soon as I sit in a car or people are around us, they recognise it, don't they?
Yep.
So
Your mum and dad do.
yeah, my mum and dad do. Rach does. Yeah, the family recognise it straight away. They're like, "Oh, you've got Hollister on," and it's that smell that comes out of the shop when you're walking past it. It's very nice. That's my go-to aftershave. Moving on to what is your favourite film? Mine, if I can get it. Yeah. Loved it as soon as it came out. Gotta be Toy Story. Fantastic film. Just great. Just love it. What a film. I think they should have left it as a trilogy. Toy Story 4 was alright, but I think a trilogy should have stayed at that. But yeah, Toy Story is my favourite film. Vicky?
So my favourite Disney film is Mulan. I just love it. I don't know why. I just do. I think it was, maybe in my mind, it was like the first female like princess who was just, she didn't need a man. She could do it herself. Yeah. So I really like Mulan. But then my favourite film is Calamity Jane. Oh my gosh, I just love Doris Day, and it's a musical and they've got so many good songs in this and it's easy to follow, so I love Calamity Jane.
So moving on to question 12, how tall are you? For me, it depends how long I've been in bed. If I've had a decent night's sleep, I come out at almost 6'1". If it's a standard night's sleep, I wake up at about 6 foot, and then at the end of the day, I drop down another inch. I end up under 6 foot. Crazy. But yeah, we'll go 6 foot. You?
I am 5'7".
There we go.
All the time.
Number 13, what is your biggest downfall? I think for me, my biggest downfall is my expectation of myself.
Yeah.
I'd go with that. I have very high expectations of myself, probably put a bit too much pressure on myself, analyse stuff a bit too much, and if I fall short, I beat myself up. Not literally.
Yeah, I agree with that. My biggest downfall is I worry, and it's not healthy because the majority of the time I worry about stuff that I cannot change or cannot do anything about. So if something cannot be done until a Monday and I start thinking about this on a Saturday, that is my weekend ruined. I will constantly think about that one thing, even though there's nothing I can physically do to change it. And that is my biggest downfall. I worry a lot about stuff that I don't even need to worry about.
There we go.
Can't stop it.
Nope.
Worst pain?
So number 14, what's the worst pain you felt? For me, tattoos are quite painful, but it's it's a pain that you're expecting, and it's manageable. I think it's manageable. I mean, I've sat for 6 hours getting tattooed, so it's obviously a manageable pain. But for me, the worst pain I felt was a few years back, maybe 4 years back. Took a bad knock playing football on my knee. I think it was my left knee, which made me hobble that for a little bit. It made me put more weight on my right knee, which then damaged my right knee. There was a strain on the tendons. My knee swelled up quite a lot. Just very uncomfortable all the time. Struggled walking. Once my left knee once the knock had worn off on my left knee, I was walking normally, but my right knee was still in pain. Depended how I sat, I got shooting pains, so it got to a point where I just went to the hospital, and they put me through physio, and physio was hard. They put me into positions that I never thought I could get into, gave me exercise to do it, and touch wood, the knees have been good since. But that, how long were it? 4 or 5 months?
It was a long time.
It was a really long time where I was just very, very uncomfortable, hurting with everything that I did. And at the time, my job, I was on my feet a lot, walking around a lot. And at the hospital, they said you need to be off your feet as much as you can, and I just couldn't. So ended up prolonging the pain. Should have really took some time off.
Mhm.
You?
My worst pain. There's nothing really that stands out. I had that plantar fascia, whatever it's called, where you've been a runner and when you first put your foot down, you get like shots up your foot. But that didn't last too long.
No, that comes along when you extend your distance too quick, isn't it? So if you've
not got the correct footwear and
Yeah.
things. So I had that for a bit, but for me, like the stuff that I have on a regular basis is like stubbing my toe. That's not very pleasant. My side of the bed is near the fireplace, so that happens pretty much weekly. Toothache, mainly like I still got wisdom teeth to come through, and when they decide to do that, oh my god, it's so horrible.
Nasty.
And then TMI alert.
TMI.
Too much information alert. When I stopped taking the pill, the first day of my period is just really painful. I have to take paracetamol or ibuprofen. But yeah, like nothing too severe yet.
No broken bones or anything like that.
No.
There we go. The second to last one, what is your most embarrassing moment? Rach finished her video on this one, and we felt like our embarrassing moment is a bit of a down point, so we wanted to finish the video on a bit more of a positive question. So we've got one more that we snuck in there. So what is your most embarrassing moment? Do you want me to start or do you want to start?
I'll go.
Vicky will go.
So it's like the most recent one, I think. And when we was in America for Dan's family's wedding, they had like a sports day, which was like full of different sports, and they had like a big paddling pool, and we were on sun lounges and things, and they had this stall set up with sunglasses, sun cream, bug spray, like anything really. And I'd had my contact lenses in, and I'd been in the pool, and I lost my contact lens, so that was quite embarrassing, but it was fine, I could still see. And throughout the day I kept getting redder and redder, and there was one family member called Elizabeth, and she kept coming over to me going, "Victoria, have you put some sun cream on?" And I kept saying to her, "Yes, Elizabeth, I have," but I hadn't. I'd actually been putting the bug spray on instead of the sun cream because it was right next to it. And the reason why it's embarrassing is because I can never live it down. Every time it is a hot day and I start getting a bit red, or someone gets the sun cream out, it gets brought up. And so it's quite embarrassing for the fact that I'm never ever going to live it down. And I was bright red.
She was a beacon.
In the evening I had to wear a pink sari, and my arms were the same colour as my outfit. So that was my my most embarrassing moment.
I think I'll stick with the theme of things that you're never ever gonna live down. A little bit personal, but mine's a breakup. So, ex-girlfriend, we broke up. She broke up with me on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. Couldn't believe it. I've done all right for myself, though. I think I'm better off now. But yeah, it's something that I'm never ever living down. Whenever we're around the family and we have like a bit of an argument or a disagreement, even Max is what, 11?
Yeah.
He's 11, and
But it's been saying
it for years.
Yeah.
It was saying it when we were at New York, and that's 3-4 years ago. 4 years ago. But yeah, as soon as we have an argument, Max is there. "Ooh, you're gonna get dumped," and then he'll go, "Oh no, it's not New Year's Eve." It's just something that is an ongoing joke, and yeah, I'll never live it down. Every single New Year that comes around,
they're like, "Oh, you survived another one."
Yeah, as soon as New Year Day comes, we're like, "Yes, we made it." Yeah, so that's something that's going to live with me. Other embarrassing moments, I don't get embarrassed that easy, do I?
No, you don't.
No, I'm the one normally doing the embarrassing. So there we go. And then moving on to the final question, what are you most proud of? Up to date, so
Up to date.
go for it.
I'm most proud of being able to push my body physically. So, for some people it might not seem like much, but I'm really proud of myself for completing the Doncaster Half Marathon. And not only did I complete it, I ran the full duration of the course, so I didn't stop once to walk, which was the main thing that I wanted to achieve. But then the cherry on the top is the fact that I finished well before Dan. It felt like a good half an hour before he came round. And then there was also another gentleman that we go running with, and he was in front of me for ages, and I saw him and I was like, "Oh, it's Dave. I'm going to see if I can catch up to him." Well, I caught up to him and he didn't even recognise me. He was looking the other way, and then I got past him and he was just like, "Oh," but he had nothing left. He had no reserves left to then try and keep up with me. But yeah, definitely the cherry on the top was like beating Dan that day.
I really struggled that day. Just couldn't do it.
It was a really warm day.
It was a lack of training. That's what it was.
And then the other thing that I've done where I push my body is the Yorkshire Three Peaks Challenge, which I know this is quite a popular one, loads of people have completed it, but I think if you don't have that training and you're not on your feet for very long, your ankles go, your hips go, whereas I was really fortunate and it was only my left or right knee towards the end that was a bit iffy, but I felt good. I really want to do it again.
So for me, what are you most proud of? I think, yeah, 3-peat challenge, definitely. I won't be doing it again. We did video it though, so link up in this top corner, one of the top corners. We'll link that video. It's a good watch. Might watch that one actually. Yeah, we do sometimes go back and watch his videos, don't we? So yeah, please go and look at that and enjoy it as much as we enjoyed doing it. Yeah, very very good accomplishment, I think. But what am I most proud of? You can see it behind us, the shirt from my Doncaster Rovers debut. Very proud of that, not only because I've got to play for Doncaster Rovers in a sense, playing with some of the old players between 98 and 2008, Pricey, Stocky, Effin and Aita, players who I idolised as I was growing up, Greenie as well. But I think what makes me proud about doing that is the amount of money that I raised for a fantastic charity, Eve's Trust, cancer charity based in Doncaster, raised just over 1,500 quid, almost 1,600 quid, so the aim is to get that again for this one coming up. Link in the description down below, we'll plug that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it another go, and hopefully this time round I'll be less nervous, and I performed okay, but there were things that I'll do differently. So yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, very proud of that, and that's why it's framed and up there with the Leeds team and the Rovers team photos, and that'll be going up in my room when we've decorated it.
Yep. Yeah. That's all I questions done.
Yeah, that is it for this random tag video. We hope you've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed going through the questions and having a think, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been a long chatty one, so hopefully you've stayed with us till the end.
Yeah, if you have, give yourself
you.
a pat on the back. And thank you very much. But if you have enjoyed it, big thumbs up for us, please. If you want to see more stuff like this, let us know in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. It'd be great to get to that milestone. And as always, thank you for watching.
We'll see you in the next one.
We will.